Industrial associations in the fishery business use more and more influence upon the economy of Russia. A few non-commercial organizations of fishermen are operational nowadays. One of them is the Pollock Association. Within a year of its existence, the associations prove that corporate unions are capable to make order at fishery of their species in a very short time. An impetus to get united and to establish the Pollock Association, there used to be a sharp decline of world price for the Alaska pollock roe in the summer of 2006. Then, 25 fishery industrial companies of the Russian Far East became its members. Within a year of its work, the association managed to get approach to solving the most ardent issues related to the fishery of great importance for Russia. One of these issues is the illegal catching of the Alaska pollock and smuggling its roe to the Asian market. Within the last years, the fishery companies have been constantly increasing volumes of deliveries. Thus, from 12,000 tons in 2002, the volume of deliveries grew up to 30,000 tons in 2006. Alongside with that, the price per ton dropped correspondingly, from $15,000 till merely $9,000. And at the backstage, with the resources of the catching species are steadily decreasing. That's why the first step of the newly born association on the way towards the Alaska pollock fishery stabilization, there became the adoption of the partnership agreement to reduce the production of the Alaska pollock roe. As a result of the cartel policy, the association managed to stop the decrease and to start the increase of the Alaska pollock roe's price. This year, the production of the roe decreased by 10,000 tons. However, its price grew by 10–15%. So the corporate control not only supplemented the state control, but in this case turned out to be more effective. Proposals by the pollock associations permit in the long run to elaborate a coordinated foreign economic strategy of the Russian fishery industry and to raise its financial effectiveness. For example, in order to more fully ensure a rational use of resources, fishery industrialists applied to the Tin-Roe Center with the request to elaborate the biological substantiation to divide the Alaska pollock fishery in two sub-seasons, denominated A and B. Season A includes a pre-spawning period which falls on January-March. Within this period, the scientists propose to use some 70% of the Alaska pollock quotas. October-November is the B period, which is the feeding up season. Within this period, it's proposed to use the rest of 30% quotas. According to scientists, within this period, the Alaska pollock is to be caught exclusively for fillet making, not for the roe production. In the beginning of August, the biological substantiation to divide the Alaska pollock fishery in two sub-seasons was sent to the Federal Fishery Agency for consideration, and the preliminary approval has already been received. Under the public pressure, the developed countries are undertaking obligations to purchase only the ecologically certified products. Lack of such a certificate downgrades the competitiveness of Russian fish at the international market. The pollock associations entered into agreement with the TAVEL certification, a Canadian-based company, to accomplish the pre-assessment study of the Alaska pollock fishery in the Russian part of the Okhotsk Sea. The main aim is to determine its compatibility to the standards of the Sustainable Fishery by the Marine Stewardship Council. The period of validity for such a certification is 5 years. After its termination, there should be accomplished the repeated auditing of the fishery. Availability of such a certification guarantees the correspondence of the fishery to the principles and criteria of the Marine Stewardship Council. Besides, it eases for fishery companies to access new markets, which is extremely necessary for Russian fishermen. There, they will be able to sell their products at a higher price, even with the pretext they can guarantee the high quality of the fishery itself. Besides, the whole production process will be open for the final customer. It will be possible to track the whole process of delivery the product from the fishing ground to a trader's counter. The fishermen hope that in the result of the pre-assessment made by experts, there will be determined the weak and the strong sides of the Russian fishery industry. It will permit to modernize the process of the marine living resources management and to continue to introduce the principles of the sustainable fishery. And finally, it will lead to the strengthening of the Russian fishery companies' positions at the local and the foreign markets of fish products. The Pollock Association members are sure that the rational use of the resources today will be the basis for the stable fishery tomorrow. This idea represents the future of the fishery industry, that means of the people who work at sea.